Welcome to the Valley of the Temples in Agrigento, Sicilia. This Valley of the Temples dates back to the 6th century BC, and it is on the south side of the city of Agrigento. We started by flying next to the Temple of Hercules, or Templi di Ercole. And right now in the middle of the frame we see Tempio della Concordia. This is so well preserved because in early Christian times it was turned into a cathedral, and therefore it was preserved so it could be used as a church. Right next to all these temples, and on the south side, which is our side of the screen, there used to be a defensive wall from the early Greek times, the 6th century BCE, I should say, before the Christian era. Later in Christian times, early Christian times, that wall was carved, and in the holes that they carved in the wall, they buried their dead. So right now we see the Temple of Concordia, and there is a nice path, paved path that goes right next to it. And just next to it you see a statue of Akragas. And now we're flying to the Temple of Hera, which is partially in ruins. All along, as you walk from one temple to another, you can see the wall, the remains of the wall. And actually, right next to the Temple of Hera, right here, used to be gate number 3 to the city. This gate was destroyed when there was a landslide in ancient times. The Temple of Hera has some columns standing. It is quite imposing. All the temples seem to have the same layout. 6 columns on the front and the back, and then 13 columns on the side. In this case, we can see the temple, and right in front of it, to the right, to our right on the screen, are the remains of what used to be the altar to the Temple of Hera, where they performed sacrifices. Today, February 2021, this is the only place where you can access the site. All other entrances are closed, and we're lucky to have it open because it's been open for about a week or 10 days only. So right now we can see in more detail the altar, the remains of it, the Temple of Hera, and we're going down what used to be the defensive wall of the ancient city that later gave rise to the city of Agrigento. This path that runs by the wall takes you from one temple to the other, and in this case you get to the queen of this ancient site, Temple of Concordia again. Once more you can see it's a little green dot, but it's pretty big. It's the statue of Icarus that was made in 1899. And right behind this temple, in ancient early Christian times, a cemetery was built right here. We can see it now on the screen, all that greenery with beautiful large hedges of rosemary bushes, at least today. When you visit it, you can see the openings in the ground for the tombs. And we arrived back at the temple of Hercules, Tempio di Ercole, that was destroyed by an earthquake, and all those columns standing were rebuilt in the recent past. Beyond this temple, we can see a temple of Zeus and a temple of the chthonic gods Demeter and her daughter. And now briefly in the background, you can see the beautiful city of Agrigento that sits on top of a hill.